Hare Krishna. So chapter 6 of Canto 1, conversation between Narada and Vyasa. So this is the chapter where Narada Muni, he further narrates his previous life, what happened after the Bhakti Vedantas left and what did he do, and how come he became Narada, got transcendental body, how he got darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the end he lives by giving final instruction to Vyasdeva. Same instruction, compile Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of Supreme Lord, in details. So 38 shlokas are here, and Vyasdeva inquires about Narada's life, life after initiation, attaining this body, remember past life, what happened. And Narada speaks about his mother's departure. His mother was so much affectionate to him, and that was one attachment. So his mother was like, his mother left body by snake bite, and like that. Then his attachment was cut. His meditation and vision of the Lord from 11 to 19th shloka, how he traveled throughout varieties of Lord's creation, and his meditation, Lord instructs and consoles Narada's full perfection, and Narada concludes and departs. Okay, so Vyasdeva inquires about Narada's life. Sutta said, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasdeva, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. So Sutta uvachaha, evam nishamya bhagavan, janma karma chabhuyaha. So, incarnation of God and son of Satyavati inquired as follows. So, Narada Muni will describe in this chapter perfection of his life. What happened? How did he take darshan of Lord? Shri Vyasdeva said, what did you, Narada, what did you do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you from the beginning of your present birth in scientific transcendental knowledge? What did you do after the left? What did you do? Bhikshubhir vipravasite, that Bhikshubhir, the great mendicants, Bhikshu, the left, after instructing you, then what did you do? So that's called, Prabhupada says here, Sadharma Pricha. Technically, this process is called Sadharma Pricha. What is this Sadharma Pricha? Inquiring. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor for the progressive path, and that's called Sadharma Pricha. Inquiry. So that's one of the thing in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, out of the 64 elements, first one is Sadharma Pricha. Okay. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 64 items of bhakti. It starts with Sadharma Pricha, inquiring from spiritual master about Sadharma. O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation, and how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course? How did you do this? How did you pass your life after initiation? How do you do this? What happened? How do you got this body? So that's important point, subject matter, that being son of a ordinary maid servant, how come he became Narada Muni, the transcendental son of Brahma? What happened? So a great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. Due to time, everything is annihilated. So how is it that the subject matter which happened prior to this day of Brahma is still fresh in your memory? How? Undisturbed by time. What happened? As spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Sri Narada developed this spiritual consciousness even when he had his material body in the previous kalpa. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, destructible, and perverted. But super consciousness of the super mind in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated. So, difference between body and soul. Difference between this material body and spirit soul is explained here in this purport. Now, from text 5 to 10, Narada speaks about his mother's departure. How did his mother live? His mother's departure. Narada said, the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge and of transcendence to me departed for other place, and I had to pass my life in this way. They left, departed, and I had to pass my life in this way. They left. So in previous life, when Naradji was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life, although he was only a boy of 5 years. So you see, Prabhupada, how beautifully he uses the word impregnated. Narada was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages. So this is the analogy given here. Like in this world, we have husband and wife come together, and the husband impregnates the wife, and then they get child. That's the process to beget children, good offspring, Krishna conscious offspring, to continue the dynasty. So both husband should be potent and wife should be fertile. Then only husband can impregnate the wife can be impregnated, and then there can be offspring. If the husband is not potent, but the wife is fertile, there cannot be child. If the wife is not fertile, husband is potent, there cannot be child. Both should be there. So similarly, this analogy is given in elsewhere also, that bona fide spiritual master and bona fide disciple, ideal disciple. Disciple should have his qualities, tadviddhi pranipatena pariprasthana sevaya. He should be submissive, he should be loyal, he should surrender himself in front of Guru, and with full faith execute his order. And the Guru, spiritual master, should be potent. He should be filled with spiritual realization, and then only the disciple can be impregnated with spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, it cannot happen. So, good Guru, bad disciple, it cannot work out. And good Guru, good disciple, bad Guru, again, it cannot happen. It cannot work. So Guru and disciple both has to be on the perfect position. Of course, if someone is a good disciple, then Krishna will guide him to bring him to a good Guru. Even if a good disciple, a good sincere soul, somehow or other he comes to a bogus Guru, bad Guru, Krishna will guide him to bring him to a good person. But if Guru is bona fide and spiritually elevated, but disciple is not following, then what happens? What can the disciple do? What can the Guru do? If the disciple is not listening, Guru can bless him and tell him to, of course, Guru can instruct him to follow, but if the disciple is not following, what happens? So Diksha, how by spiritual initiation, what change should be there? So symptom, this is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. So after we get initiation from bona fide spiritual master, we should have these symptoms in us. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life after spiritual realization. It brings a quick change in life. And it should bring. Now, in text 6, he says that how he was bound by the affection of his mother. I was the only son of my mother who was not only a simple woman, but was the maidservant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protection. She bound me with the tie of affection. So Narad Muni said he was bound by the tie of affection of his mother. So that's the greatest bondage actually in this world, tie of affection. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. So that's what is happening. Ishasya, Ishvasya, Hivashe Loko. Isha is Supreme Lord. Isha. We say Isha Upanishad. So Isha. Ishavasya Vitam Sarvam. Supreme Lord. Ishvasya Hivashe Loko. Yosha Darumayi Yatha. Darumayi, it's like wooden doll. Wooden doll. Yosha Darumayi Yatha. Just like wooden doll in the hand of puppet master. Now, in text 8, how he was a small child. When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was like Brahmana school was there. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. So his mother was also serving in that Brahmana school as a maid servant and doing everything. And Narad Muni was there, hanging around there. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme time. Influenced by supreme time, one serpent, snake, came and bitten my mother. That is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. That's the way. The poor boy was being looked after only by his affectionate mother, and yet the mother was taken from the world with the supreme will in order to put him completely at the mercy of the Lord. That was the way. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desired benediction for his devotees, and so thinking, I started for the north. He started for the north. Narad Muni started for the north. So thinking. The confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. What is considered to be an odd or difficult moment in the mundane sense is accepted as special mercy of the Lord. Mundane prosperity is a kind of material fever, and by the grace of the Lord, the temperature of this material fever is gradually diminished, and spiritual health is obtained step by step. Mundane people misunderstand it. So, Narad Muni started towards the north. It says that when people leave home for renouncement and detachment, renouncing home, they live towards the north, because Himalaya is situated towards the north. The furthest north is Himalaya. And also that's why I said that when people like go towards the north, then they don't have any hope of coming back, returning back. After my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolis. That's when you're saying how he went through different metropolis and all. Okay, 5 to 10, from 11 to 19, Narad Muni travels, meditation, and vision of the Lord. So here is a note: confidential devotees see the Lord's benedictory directions in every step for confidential devotees. So his travel passed through flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, and natural forests. Men's activities in the fields of agriculture, mining, farming, industries, gardening, etc., were all on the same scale as they are now. It's still going on. All this. So Narad Muni passed through all of them. But Narad Muni didn't try any kind of financial or what called economical development. See, Sri Narad Muni, even though he was a mere child, after getting an impetus in spiritual life, he did not waste time for a single moment with economic development. Although he passed towns and villages, mines and industries. So what happened? It's actually when they renounce life, they should traveling mendicant, renunciates, they should travel, not stay in one place. They should go on traveling. But that's the different reasons for that. One reason is that when they are traveling, they're not stationed in one place, then they don't get attached to something. What happened? Like if a sadhu is staying in one place, okay, then it's my kamandalu, my water pot, and then this is my place for sitting. I sit in this corner. Okay, then we can attach to that place, asana, that's that corner, and then gradually, okay, let's make a bhajan kutir. Let's make a bhajan place for me. Then okay, this is a kutir for me. Then let's build it. Different things like Gita Samsara, it comes. So sadhus are supposed to travel and not stay in one place. Just travel so that he can, even if he wants, he cannot be attached to anything. The people, he cannot be attached to the people, he cannot be attached to the place, he cannot be attached to the things, facilities. So sadhus, people will respect the sadhu. They will give him facility. They will give him good place, good food, and things. So if he stays in one place, then he will be attached to that good place and good food. So one day he might be in one nice village and people are respecting him and accepting him, and they say, okay, why don't you stay here for some long time? Or do you stay here, do bhajan? They might offer him a place to stay. That was the condition in those days. They would respect honor sadhus. So if sadhus get attached to that, okay, nice place, nice house they have given me in this village. Nice food also everybody is bringing every day for me, different things. Let me continue to be here and fine, my life will be nicely taken care of. No, that's not. So then what kind of surrender is there? He will just stay a few days and just leave that place. So today, nice village, he stays nice facility, accommodation. Tomorrow he might go in another place in jungle where he doesn't have any good facility. He doesn't have any good thing. No good food, no good facility to stay. It depends on God. So yeah, that's another thing, another what called altogether one who has got the taste, or one who has realized that life of just surrendering on Krishna, then that's there. Otherwise we cannot understand. So I had some experience when I was in the brahmachari ashram for a few years. So I was mostly in places, but for some time I was traveling. For some time, around 2 years, I was mainly, because my situation was like this, I had to travel. I was going and traveling and teaching courses, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava in different places, in India, in Bangladesh, in different parts of India, other places. So that was the situation. So I had to, and then sometimes I go by flight, sometimes go by train, sometimes by bus. So when you go by flight, you can't take more than 15 kilo. And when you go by bus, okay, then okay, bus and train are there. So what I did, I said that okay, I was rarely staying in at the time Mayapur. Mayapur I was staying, but these 2 years I was extensively traveling in different places. So I thought, okay, I have to continue to travel now. It was just before the lockdown. The lockdown came and it ended. Before lockdown, 2 years I was traveling like this. So I bought a backpack thing. and a small other handbag. So I tried to, I said, okay, this is my life, this is my entire thing, possessions. Within the bag, I had my 2 or 3 sets of clothes and this and that within 15 kilo, whatever I get. And because I was traveling, I was having some also with me. What called? Because when you go for traveling and devotees, all the places, they have feast, big feast, and rich food and all. So I was thinking, no, I cannot just take all the time rich food and all. So I was having some chopping board, some knife with me so that I can take some fruits and cut them and eat, or take some like what called mm, maybe some like that, so that I can not rely on those rich food like rich prasadam. Lunch I would take wherever I would be, but breakfast and dinner I would just try to eat as less as possible. If some fruits are there, some fruits are other, somehow some other things, some chipped rice, some muri. I would have all these things in my bag. Some chipped rice, some muri, puffed rice, and eat those. So all these things, my and then mosquito net, different things, all kinds of like that was my entire thing. 15 kilo of bag, and then I had 7 kilo this handbag. I had laptop, and of course I had my camera to make videos. I'm making videos for YouTube preaching and gadgets. So all that was 7 kilo for handbag and 15 kilo for that backpack. So just traveling. So somewhere I would go is a nice facility, nice everything, some temple, and some other small centers I would go. There are not much facilities, this and that, and mosquitoes are there at night. Cannot sleep. So it was this 2 years was an experience for me, just traveling alone. Of course, our traveling is not like Narad Muni. Narad Muni's travel was unsure, like the travel by walk, travel by foot, and he doesn't know where he's going. Jungles, forest, and mountains. Doesn't know where he will stay. But we know everything is arranged for us. Or next temple, from this temple to that temple, there is some devotee who is coming to pick us up from the bus stand. And okay, there are devotees. Oh, I am going to be there. So that kind of traveling, sadhus, Narad Muni, what they were doing, like another reason for traveling is that that gives us more dependence on Krishna. Because you don't know where you are going, where you are staying. Even that's what is the says that in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says about 4 varnas ashramas, also Abhayam Sattvasam Shuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthi. So he said Abhayam for sannyasi. Prabhupada writes in the purport that Abhayam is for sannyasi. Sannyasi should be fearless. So how come they become fearless? So that's why you just go in the jungles and forests, just travel and depend on Krishna. They don't have any fear. And they should conquer fear actually. And that's why they should travel. When you travel around and all the places, some places is good, secure, some places it might be unsafe, but still there are tigers and this and that, ferocious animals, and they just depend on Krishna. So that gives them fearlessness, that gives them detachment, that gives them dependence on Krishna. That's why they should travel. But for us, everything is okay. You go from this place to that place, everything is there. But that also, even though that also, I still remember those 2 years of just traveling. I actually made everything okay. This is my this backpack is mine. Within this backpack is my all possessions. That's all. Even if someone would give me some gift, I said no. My backpack is filled. I cannot take. I remember one place, one devotee gave me something, gift, some clothes. I said, no, I cannot take because it will not come in my backpack. I have just 15 kilo limitation. So I cannot take more than that. But what's going on? Life was going on. So great souls travel for preaching. That's what we see in third canto. Srila Prabhupada also was traveling. Narad Muni is traveling, but Narad Muni is traveling is like all kind. There's those sadhus in those days. Their traveling was really stay under trees like Shad Goswamis. But we have so much facilities. Idea is that like when we had in Brahmachari ashram also in Govardhaniko village and Iskon Chopati, Pune also, I had that experience that we didn't have even our place to sleep. You have your, so we had possession, one locker. We have one locker, and within the locker, small locker, whatever you can have, just have within that your clothes and all, some books. That's all. Anything you keep outside the locker will be confiscated. That was the rule of Brahmachari ashram. You cannot keep anything outside. And on top of the locker, you will have a space where you can put your mosquito net. So we had round mosquito net, foldable mosquito net, and a round bag, a stitched bag, and round mosquito net. And within that, we would have bedding, that mat, you like yoga mat or kind of mat, foldable mat, and a blanket. So mat, blanket, and mosquito net. These three things in a pack. We would keep it like that. So at night, you take your thing, and wherever you get place, you just sleep. Open ashram, all the rooms are open. So wherever you go, so sometimes we go on terrace and sleep, sometimes veranda, and like you don't know where you're going to sleep. In Chopati temple, the devotees used to sleep in the temple hall. Temple hall and ashram, where there are different places. So like that, even if you say, oh, this is my sleep, I should sleep in this corner only. No, anywhere you sleep. So that was a different life. Okay. So I passed through hills and mountains full of reservoirs of various minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and through tracts of land with reservoirs of water filled with beautiful lotus flowers, fit for the denizens of heaven, decorated with bewildered bees and singing birds. So like the beautiful places, places he went. So another thing, the trouble, like they experience God's creation. You experience God's creation, how the Lord created this entire world. You go through you got different experience. You got a large, very wide variety of experience you got. That's what you will see in 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Abadhut Brahman and his 24 gurus. How Abadhut Brahmana, he learned from birds, learned from bees, he learned from the tiger, deer, elephant, learned from python, learned from a prostitute, learned from the earth, the trees, and whatnot, a mountain. So he saw things and he learned, took lessons. So that's why sannyasis and renunciates, brahmachari, they should travel. Just go and travel. Okay. I then passed alone through many forests of bamboo, sharp grass, weeds, and caves, which were very difficult to go through alone. I visited deep, dark, and dangerously fearful forests, which were the play yards of snakes, owls, and jackals. So two things. One thing is they should travel, and another thing is they should not get attached to anything. That helps them to come out of attachment fine. But sometimes people, they might get attached also. Okay, you travel around and you see something good. Then you might, oh, I might also, if I can also get a nice house, I can also get married, I can get also nice wife, nice children. So don't get attached. That's the main thing for them. And they start financial, economical development. Okay, I do this and that, like Gita Samsar. So that was the main point. See, Prabhupada writes here, it is the duty of a mendicant, Parivrajacharya, to experience all varieties of God's creation by traveling alone through all forests, hills, towns, villages, etc. It's a duty for them to gain faith in God and strength of mind, as well as to enlighten the inhabitants with the message of God. The sannyasi is duty bound to take all these risks. It's nice, but Prabhupada says everything what we discussed till now without fear. And the most typical sannyasi of the present age is Lord Chaitanya. He was traveling also. Traveling mendicant, he traveled same manner in the forest of Jharkhand, Indian jungle, and enlightening even the tigers, bears, snakes, deers, elephants, and many other jungle animals. I visited Jharkhand, that place, Charan Pahari, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, was there. And that you still have imprint of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footsteps, and the tiger, deer, the python. There was the rhino which fell. And that place also you get, rhino fell. And due to love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing this Harinam Sankirtan, Prema Sankirtan, love of Krishna. And with that love, even the stones melted. Stones melted, and there is still the imprint, the footprints of all these animals and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So in this age of Kali Yuga, sannyas is forbidden for ordinary men. One who changes his dress to make propaganda is a different man from the original ideal sannyasi. One should, however, take the vow to stop social intercourse completely and devote life exclusively to the service of the Lord. The change of dress is only a formality. Lord Chaitanya did not accept the name of a sannyasi. And in this age of Kali, the so-called sannyasis should not change their former names, following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. So then this traveling, I felt tired, both bodily and mentally, and I was both thirsty and hungry. So I took a bath in the river, lake, and also drank water. By contracting water, I got relief from my exertion. So I took bath there, took water. So like that, those days, it was easier for sadhus. Clean water, clean river water. They could drink that water. They could take bath in those waters. And forests were filled with fruits, milk, and they would even pass through villages and they would beg, and they would get plenty of milk. And there are people who would receive the sadhus, and at least they would give milk. Milk was so abundant of milk. And Prabhupada writes in the first canto only, that we'll see in later, that an adult person, if he takes half liter of milk every day, it's enough, sufficient for him, for an adult, grown-up adult. Pure milk, half liter of pure milk per day is sufficient. I mean, sufficient means if someone takes half liter of milk, he doesn't need to eat anything else. He can live without eating anything, just by drinking milk, half liter of milk. There was the milk drinking brahmachari, of course. So, of course, it was easier. They would get plenty of milk, free milk, and they would get fruits also everywhere, freely available, abundant. So you get milk, you get fruits, and of course, some grains. It was easier. Food was abundant in abundance. You don't need to, there was no scarcity of food. So sadhus would not have scarcity of food, and they could stay anywhere under trees, or maybe there were like other people would give them shelter, or trees, anywhere they can sleep. Traveling mendicant can meet the needs of body, namely thirst and hunger, with the gifts of nature without being a beggar at the doors of householders. The mendicant therefore does not go to the house of the householder to beg, but to enlighten him spiritually. He would not go there to beg only, but he would go to enlighten them spiritually. After that, so important purport, why should they travel? After that, under the shadow of a banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the super soul situated within, using my intelligence as I learned from liberated soul. So he was under the banyan tree and he was meditating. One should not meditate according to one's personal whims, but as they learn from authoritative source. So what he learned from them, he did. He didn't do it whimsically. He learned from them authoritative sources, and then he meditated. Okay. As soon as I began to meditate with my mind transformed in transcendental love of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. Tears rolled down, and Supreme Lord appeared in his heart. The word bhava is significant here. Bhava. He got the transcendental bhava. Shraddha to prema. Bhava is a gradual stage. So Narada Muni came till bhava. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nibritti. Of Vyasdeva, at the time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could not see both myself and the Lord. I could not see myself and the Lord both. The spiritual feeling of happiness and intense ecstasies have no mundane comparison. Therefore, it is very difficult to give expression to such feelings. We can just have a glimpse of such ecstasy in the words of Narada Muni. Spiritual ecstasy. Now, his transcendental bliss he got, seeing the Lord. Chinmay, Prakrita. Wonderful. Now, the transcendental form of the Lord, as it is, manifests according to the mind's desire, and at once erases all mental incongruities. What does it mean? Okay. Incongruities means duality, mental duality. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. So, when someone loses something which is desirable, it's usually like people that mentally perturbed and disturbed and bewildered. Narada Muni also showed that symptom. So Prabhupada talks here about Supreme Lord's form, beautiful form. Lord is not formless. Lord is not formless, is experienced by Narada Muni. But his form is completely different from all forms of material experience. These are the special features of the transcendental form of the Lord, and one who has once seen that form is not satisfied with anything else. The spiritual beings having eternal relations with that transcendental form of the Lord, we are life after life searching after that form of the Lord, and we are not satisfied by any other form of material appeasement. What you desire, life after life, was obtained by Narada Muni. Then he tried again. Again, he tried to see that form, but now this time he couldn't do. I desired to see again the transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to renew the form, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. There is no mechanical process to see the form of the Lord. It completely depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. We cannot demand the Lord to be present before our vision, just as we cannot demand the sun to rise up whenever we like. We can't just demand the sun, okay, I want to see the sun now, even if it's night. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya namedhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaishya binute tena labhyasta seisha atma vibrinute tanum swam. The Kathopanishad shloka, Prabhupada quotes it also at different places. Prabhupada quotes this verse. So that's the thing. We cannot demand Krishna to come and give us darshan. So spiritual bliss, that bliss what Narada Muni experienced, actually we cannot understand what does that mean. Spiritual bliss, it's really transcendental. It's really, really amazing. We cannot just, it's uncomparable. Incomparable. Okay. So now text 20 onwards. There is no mechanical process to see the Lord's form. It completely depends upon Lord's causeless mercy. Okay. So text 20 to 25, Lord instructs, and consoles Narada. We'll see it in the next class.